Good morning. It's a good morning to chat, to say hello to neighbors and friends, new and old. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this circle. Welcome to this community. Whether we're here in person or online, we know that we are part of community that seeks to recognize and honor the deep, the heart, the spirit of life. And so we come to do that today as well. So good morning and welcome to this circle. We are, each of us, always full of many contradictions and full of many complexities. In this last few weeks, we've been exploring a topic of living our lives in light and shadow. And today is no different. Today we're focusing on our sense of imbalance. And so perhaps you come here today feeling completely centered and amazing. And for that, congratulations. And if you're like me, you come with a whole sense of this and that, left and right, up and down, not sure where you're bouncing yet today. And so we honor today all the different ways that we come, all the things that make us each unique, but full of what connects us. We're here full of agitation and stress and worry, but also full of that potential for peace and calm and all the states in between. We're here in this circle, all of us shining the light of our highest humanity, and yet we're all still somehow seeking it. So we gather in this place that we make sacred with our presence, with our heart, with our connection to each other, to ourselves, and to whatever more we seek. So we are welcome here. And as always, we affirm that it doesn't matter who we are or who we're welcoming. We affirm that our welcome applies to all of us, all sizes, all ages, all genders, all colors, all cultures, all sexualities, all learning styles and neurotypes, all religions, many or none, all abilities. And so all of us, people, we're welcome. And I hope that you feel that way today, and I hope that you find a piece of what you seek in our time together today.
Yes, I have an interesting relationship with this thing. Oh, there I am. Okay. Good morning, I'm Janelle Brooks, and I'm your gathering companion today. We are grateful for light, the light that shines at the center of our system, source of life and energy, the light that shines in the lives of each of us, that shines in us as we recognize the connection and common humanity in and between us. We're grateful that this candle reminds us to live lives that brighten in all we do and say, that focuses us and draws us towards all that is meaningful in our lives, all that is sacred. It is also my privilege this morning to honor the land. In the spirit of welcome, we honor the land we find ourselves a part. Edmonton, Amiskwaci, Waskagan. I practiced that, darn Treaty 6 territory home. When we gather here, we acknowledge and respect the history, languages, cultures, and spiritualities of all diverse Indigenous peoples who have and do call this place home. The legacy and teaching we can learn and the gratitude we have for life, work, and making our homes on this land is a gift to us. We commit to the work of good relationships, continued reconciliation, and partnership together.
Before us now are some words of intention. We are invited, we can speak these words with each other, we can read them to ourselves as others speak them, we can simply listen and absorb them. However we can enter into this time of intention together, we're invited to do so. We welcome time to breathe, time to ponder, time to be. And as we rest into that time, we realize just how many pulls there are on our hearts, our bodies, our minds, and our energy. Let's acknowledge the challenges we face and how common it is to feel stretched in many different directions. Working and resting, spending and saving, positivity and realism, time with ourselves and others, reaching and contracting, accepting and changing, living and dying. Why can the search for balance be so overwhelming? Let's name it, face it, and seek to live into it together. May it be so. Our time for all ages is here. We're welcome to come to the carpet. We're welcome to stay where we are. We're welcome to hear whatever we've got this morning to share with each other. Our story is called Too Many Moose. I thought Dara was coming to the carpet. The story Too Many Moose is by Lisa M. Bakos, pictures by Mark Chambers. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you can see these pictures okay. This is a story about Martha. When Martha decided that she must have a pet, she marveled and mulled over what she should get. But much of the choices made Martha quite glum. Instead of magnificent, most were humdrum. And just as it seemed like it might be no use, she made up her mind that she must have one moose. The mailman, of all people, delivered her new moose midday. She signed with an M. Her name's Martha, remember? And they both marched away. They shared an umbrella, they sipped maple tea, they carved hearts and M's on a mulberry tree. They went to the movies, they shopped at the mall. They both got a manicure, polish and all. My moose is so marvelous, Martha declared, not much could match up when her moose was compared. How lovely. So Martha quite merrily ordered one more. And one more, until she had 4. The mailman delivered her new moose midday. She signed with an M, and they all marched away. They hummed mirthful music, they made lemonade, they modeled some masks for a moose masquerade, they chomped on some crumpets with marmalade. They put on some swimsuits and swimmingly swam. My moose are so marvelous, Martha declared. Not much could match up when her moose were compared. So, Martha quite merrily ordered one more, and one more, as she'd done before. The mailman delivered her new moose midday. She signed with a M, and they all marched away. They munched macaroni, they practiced some math, they mixed up some mud pies, then they jumped in a bath. They baked homemade muffins from morning till noon. They mamboed till midnight by beams from the moon. My moose are so marvelous, Martha declared. Not much could match up when her moose were compared. So Martha quite merrily ordered one more, and one more, and one more, as she'd done before. The mailman delivered her new moose midday. She signed with an M, and they all marched away. Oh, look at Martha. The more moose, the merrier, Martha exclaimed. There's much more to moose, though, than the catalog claimed. Now we're getting to it. It seems Martha was smitten, what marvelous luck, till one day most all of her moose ran amok. They got a bit crazy. They misplaced her mittens, they muddied her dress, they used most of Martha's shampoo, more or less. I'm not sure how they didn't use a whole vat of shampoo, honestly. They misused her markers. Oh, how annoying. They smashed Martha's mums, they minced Martha's homework and left only crumbs. They messed with her marbles, they tumbled her cake. More moose were most certainly quite a mistake. So Martha proclaimed that the moose must go back. She wrapped up some muffins and helped them all pack. The moose man arrived to collect them midday. The mailman arrived to collect them midday. I think he's the moose man by now. She signed with an M, and all but one marched away. My one moose is so marvelous, Martha declared. not much could match up when this moose was compared. There they are. Bye-bye, Martha and Moose. Oh my gosh. I have a little story to tell you about these cookies that we buy sometimes. We have them in the cupboard right now, though I don't think there's many left. They're square, and they're basically just graham crackers covered in chocolate. Oh. They're not the fanciest cookies in the world. They're just not. They come in a big, ugly package. But when I have a cookie, I have to have one more, and then one more, and then one more. And I think yesterday I ate maybe a stack that was about that tall. That's probably not great, but whatever. Are there things that you like to have a lot of? Anyone in the room? Popcorn. Potato chips. Is it always food? What? Wool. Oh, this is a knitter. Yeah, I recognize that voice. I couldn't hear. Video game playtime, yes. It's hard to just have a little. You want a lot. You have, yes? Stuffies. Yes. Earrings. Shoes. Okay, so we've all got our thing. That's fine. This story is fun because Martha reminds me of me with cookies. Maybe it reminds you with earrings or wool, or a lot can be a lot sometimes. And then we kind of think, oh, wait a minute, maybe just one or a few is okay. But we have to get there somehow. Sometimes we have to have too many before we have just right. 4. I think I had more than 4.
Then it's gonna be like...
Yeah, you're right. I think I was just trying not to look totally terrible, but maybe it was more like this. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we all kind of figure it out, and then we somehow figure out, whether it's cookies or chips or whatever, that we have this place where we find, oh, this place seems just right. I guess I could have read Goldilocks and the Three Bears, like just right. Like we find the just right place. Like how many cookies for me is just right? Or how much video game time is just right? And we sometimes have to have not enough and then too much until we figure out the just right place.
Instead, mine is different. I want to be kind all the time.
Yeah.
And I can't just stop being kind.
Well, that's amazing.
But sometimes I just get mad at myself.
Yeah, of course you do. And sometimes you can't always be kind, either to yourself or to... It's hard. It's impossible.
No, I always wanted to be kind.
Yes.
To people every single day.
And that's amazing. That's amazing.
More days
And one day you'll find a place that is amazing, that you can be just as kind as you want, but that you can also be gentle with yourself when that doesn't happen. Yes. Yes. So, there's all kinds of ways that we come to a place that feels just right. Oh, we could also sing a song and a dance about that. To come to a place that feels just right.
Hey, Chris, anything you can eat with your hands is good for you, too, by the way.
Thank you. Okay. Well, there's no good and bad. It's all a matter of how we do it. Thank you for sharing this crazy, lovely story and time with me on the carpet and in your chairs. We're welcome to the activity table. We're welcome to Kids Spirit. Daisy and Ariane are here. And however we'd like to spend the morning, you're welcome to it. Somehow that candle experience got wax all over me. I'm not sure how. That's okay. It's just the right amount of wax, don't worry. I want to just share a few notes, a few invitations with you this morning, real briefly. There will be no, for those of you at home, there's no post-gathering reflection today. The group has graciously decided to join the AGM. Thank you, group. That's very kind of you. Speaking of, today is our annual general meeting, which is, of course, we are a spiritual community, but we are an organization of people, and whenever there's an organization, we need to be organized. So this is why we have a meeting once a year, at minimum, to make sure that all things are in order and we can go ahead into the year knowing what's what. So please stay. Some of you may have brought finger foods or sandwiches. If you didn't, usually it works out. There's enough for everyone, so please feel free to stay for the AGM. And if you're joining online, you've got the links in your messenger or at the address on your screen right now. We've been working away toward having our Pi Day affirming auction, our Pi auction. This is a wonderful time to raise some money for an affirming project or event or organization. It's happening all across the country thanks to our national affirming organization, and we have chosen to offer all the proceeds for our Pi auction to Camp Dragonfly, our very own Dragonfly that happens here in this building and on the grounds in each and every summer. So thank you to all those who have donated pies. We have a wonderful selection of pies, and the auction starts as soon as you fire up your phone at noon. Or your computer, or you get home and you decide, I want to bid on one of these or some of these delicious pies. So there's instructions in your messenger. There will be an email blast going out at noon so that it's easy for you to find and how to bid on these pies. Don't feel alarmed. Don't be too kind to your friends and neighbors in bidding. You are allowed to outbid your friends and have a friendly competition so that we can raise some wonderful money for Dragonfly. This all culminates on Thursday afternoon. The auction will close, winners will be declared, and you're all welcome to come here between 6 and 7:30 on Thursday evening. Have a slice of pie, congratulate the winners, see the pies they're taking home, and wish you'd bid more. We have an Affirm brunch coming up. Do you want to talk about that? Great, perfect. Here's Dara.
Thank you. All right, so I know what we're having. We have a speaker, Rowan Morris, and for the food, we're just gonna keep it simple, bowls and buns. So we're gonna have a beef stew, vegetarian chili, vegan soup. Lots of options. As for dessert, I'm having a feeling we might have pie left over on Thursday, so I'm kind of banking on that. We'll see. Gonna need some volunteers, so we would need somebody to help with the shopping on Friday. I don't have a car, so I need help with that. That'll be on Friday. Not sure what time yet. I'll need a team of like 4-ish people on Saturday, because I was thinking we would do the cooking Saturday afternoon or night. That way in the morning, all we have to do is heat it up, and then I'll need a couple people on Sunday morning to help with cutting buns, setting up, and just making sure the soup doesn't burn. Yeah, so that's exciting. That's about it. Cool. I do not have a sign-up sheet, but my email is in the messenger. You can just shoot me an email, let me know. Yeah, I figured it'd be easier to do that way so that I can coordinate all of the different people's schedules. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking in one way or another already this morning about imbalance, feeling a little off kilter. And one of the things that we've been doing in our gatherings during this series is having different ways of sharing those things, whether we're calling those out or whether we're just pondering them silently, or whether we can share as a community some of the places where we have struggled with some of the more shadowy places that we've come up in terms of living out our values. So today is no different, and I want us to ponder what areas of balance in life we struggle with. Where have we faced that challenge of imbalance in our life? Maybe we're experiencing it now. Maybe it's something we experienced in past years. These are ways that we share with each other so that we know that when we do feel those things, we're not alone. We understand that we're all recognizing these places. And the first step to that is being able to look at ourselves and sense, oh yeah, I am experiencing this. So the microphone is here. Just a few brief sharings from a couple people that might be willing to share of some experiences of imbalance. At home, please participate with the text on the text line, and we'll read those texts so that you can also participate. So just a few minutes of sharing with each other as community.
Besides being off balance, okay. Besides being off balance literally, I also still have trouble saying no. I get into something and I go, and then I burn myself out and I pull away. Yeah.
I'm psychic, and I didn't know this. And I found this out because quite a few years ago, I would get up in the morning really angry, and I didn't have anything to be angry about, and I just couldn't figure this out. Well, finally, a friend of mine who was a channeler told me I was picking up other people's feelings. Well, I only get the bad vibes. And for quite some time now, I've been picking up fear. And I think this is because of what's going on in Europe and the United States and probably our own country. I don't think it's me, because I'm not an afraid kind of person.
I have a kind of a fun one, actually. On Thursday, we were committed to do an event that I bought for my husband for Valentine's Day. We went to the TELUS World of Science for it's called Dark Matters, the Science of Sex, which was fantastic, but there were thousands of people there. Then we find ourselves the next day on the calendar at Festival Place for a wonderful concert, the Everly Brothers tribute. Fantastic, thousands of people. Then we went last night to the Jubilee Auditorium for Andrea House and the Linda Ronstadt's story. So it's wonderful, but it's a little overwhelmed because there's thousands of people and the endorphins are way too many. But it's a good difficulty to have.
I think when we think about imbalance, one of the most common ones that comes up that I'm sure everyone here has heard many, many times is that of work-life balance. I think they had a quote up about it earlier. And, it was something that it was interesting for me to learn about because I'd heard the phrase so many times, but I'd always kind of been told it was a matter of, personal time management. If your work-life balance is off, it's because you're doing something wrong. And it took, to make a very long and boring story short, I had no work-life balance and I stopped sleeping. And I'm a very stubborn person. So I decided that I would fight that imbalance and I would be like, well, I can do it. I'm not a coward. I'm not a quitter. And so I continued to not sleep and have no work-life balance. And that's how one finds out the hard way that life doesn't make that balance easy for you. If it's school or if it's an employer or whatever it is, they're going to demand, they're going to be like, no, you don't get time to rest until you've earned it by working enough. And eventually you got to put your foot down and be like, rest is a basic human bodily function, not a reward. It's just, my brain is a little scrambled today because I haven't slept, but case in point, the imbalance has not been completely solved. Progress has been made, but humans are flawed beings, myself no exception. But yeah, that imbalance is difficult to manage, but once you do find a place of balance and a feeling like you are getting enough rest, it's just one of the best feelings, and I hope that everyone here is either experiencing that or gets to at some point. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Great. Hello, everybody. My name's Amy. I'm grateful that you brought this up today, Chris. Thank you. I have very vivid dreams. Anybody else? Yeah. Vivid dreams, sometimes I can remember them, sometimes just small parts of it. And I don't like that I can't really make sense of it. But I realize that sometimes you just have to live and push through the imbalance, and eventually it will work itself out. Or you might meet someone or something comes up for you that you then understand why. But I do enjoy the dreams, but they can be positive or negative, or there can be an in-between. And yeah, I guess from this I wanted to just share that imbalance is what it is. Thank you.
Hi. I wanted to share something that has helped me in understanding the experience of imbalance, because obviously we all experience it. It's the image of a teeter-totter. And in order to have fun on a teeter-totter, we don't just stay here, right? We move up and down. And sometimes it's a little too far, and then we come back. But then it goes the other way. Work-life balance was a good one, because I was struggling with that, so I said, let's not work at all. And I did, it was fun for a while, and I played the spoons a lot. But at some point, we had to come back, and I think in life, we are always doing this. And we're noticing if it's too far, and we come back, and then we go too far the other way. But if we enjoy it, and we notice, and just learn, that's the point. So the teeter-totter has helped me a lot in understanding the process of finding balance, and then losing it again, but then we find it again. So thank you.
Don Shepard has texted only 2 words: tax time. We're going to sing again and then carry on. Thank you for sharing.
The wisdom reading this morning is called The Middle. The most difficult thing, the most impossible thing for the mind is to remain in the middle, to remain balanced, and to move from one thing to its opposite is the easiest. To move from one polarity to another is the nature of the mind. It is just left. The clock working depends on this movement. If the pendulum stays in the middle, the clock stops. And when the pendulum moves to the right, you think it's only going to the right, but at the same time it is gathering momentum to go left. Okay. The more it moves to the right, the more energy it gathers to move to the left, and vice versa. Thinking means momentum. The mind starts arranging for the opposite. When you are standing in the middle, you are not gathering any momentum for the return. And this is the beauty of it. In this place, you can be at ease with themselves, can be at home. These are the words of a 20th century Indian mystic. May we find wisdom for our living.
As one, all things breathe as one, within this present moment, all things breathe as one, all things breathe as one, all things breathe as one, within this present moment, all things breathe as one.
We've been showing each other in the last few weeks that the first healthy practice to engage in is acknowledging the light and the shadow of our living. Showing each other that we all struggle, that we all experience these things. We've explored self-doubt, we've explored imposterism and anger. Imbalance is no different. As much as we aspire to a life of balance, the reality is that most of us don't achieve it all the time, much of the time. Most of us can imagine riding a bike. How you sense when you're off balance so that you know how to steer and correct your center of gravity and stay upright. Bikes are weird things, aren't they? You feel like you need to steer to the left, but in order to do that, you have to steer to the right so that you can lean to the left and your bike will go to the left. Isn't that weird? The key to keeping your balance is first knowing when you've lost it, says a quote. We've acknowledged in our sharing the ways we've experienced that in our lives, in all these different ways we've shared, and that's a beautiful thing that we can do for and with each other. Osho, the Indian mystic, has given us another metaphor for us to think about our sense of imbalance, the pendulum. We're so tempted to move from one thing to its opposite, he says. The more it moves right, the more energy it gathers to move to the left, and vice versa. I think about the issues and the problems that we face in our lives, the imbalance in our life, and we imagine its opposite quite a lot. We work too much and we imagine what it would be like to not. We focus on the amount of time or effort that we give to a particular task or our volunteer work, and we ponder how great it will be when we're done that. We imagine retirement, and it will be so much better than our career life. We picture a house without this annoying quirk, or with an amazing closet or bathroom or whatever we imagine. We feel guilt about our physical health, and so we envision a life where we're in great shape and eat perfectly. And how amazing that would be. But we discover, as the wise saying goes, that wherever I turn, oh, there I am. The patterns repeat, and we bounce this way and that, often from extreme to extreme. The teeter-totter image is another one that was brilliant in this sense. We tend to charge recklessly from one thing to its opposite, and the natural pendulum of life becomes more like a wrecking ball. We go all of one way looking for the answers, and when we don't find them, we think, well, what's the point? And we swing right back the other way, trying to find a solution, a way to be happy, a way to be fulfilled. It would be simple to say that a life of balance is our goal. But I'm wondering if the solution to imbalance, it really isn't balance. It might be too easy of an answer. As theologian Martin Copenhaver suggests, quote, the whole concept of balance sounds exhausting. Like balancing on one foot, or balancing a tray full of glasses while walking on a rocky path. I can do it, but not for long. We're all learning in recent years the challenges and dangers of binary thinking. We've talked about that here in this place, in this room. Life is not either this or that. It's not black or white, left or right, head or heart, male or female, gay or straight. As we explored in our queer theology series, beginning to look at life in ways that illustrate a spectrum that reject binary systems as illusion is a big help to us. So we have to return to that again and again. Osho again. Thinking means momentum. The mind starts arranging for the opposite. I've found it's difficult to stay in the middle. living from a place in our center that doesn't rely on outer circumstances for contentment. And I think based on my welcome of you this morning when I said that some of you may be feeling perfectly at ease, centered, and amazingly balanced, the number of chuckles that got makes me think that no, you don't feel that way all that often. Rather than looking for solutions in one extreme or another, as Osho has put it, it's equally difficult to imagine a state of motionlessness. Because when the pendulum stops swinging, the clock stops. Or it's like some of you have said to me, how are you doing today? Well, better than the alternative. Standing still is often not even an option. Our lives require decisions and movement. Today will make its way through, and then tomorrow. Is balance really a state of non-movement? Perhaps there's another way to think about it. In music, there's an Italian phrase, like most things musical, called tempo giusto. It means the right pace. And maybe it's kind of a cheeky thing for a composer to write on a piece of music because what's the right pace? But the musical tradition would say it's the tempo that the musician feels through their intuition the way it needs to go. We're all going to come at that differently, right? A score that tells the musician to play the piece at the right tempo is telling the musician to figure out the tempo that the notes in the score imply. We do that on a case-by-case basis. We examine the character of the composition. What mood do we want? The way we feel about the structure and the nature of the piece. The way we feel at any given moment is going to change how we play that piece. Oh, and it's in D flat major, which is my favorite key. Much to the chagrin of all the pianists in the room. The artistic director of the Madison Symphony Orchestra, John Demain, has said, "Now that I think about it, the idea of tempo giusto describes just about everything I do or aspire to do." He's connected those dots for us. He said, this little musical term perhaps is a little life term. There's a small piece of teaching within the Jesus tradition I want to share with you. After quite a lengthy teaching to the crowds around him, Jesus offers some comfort to those around him in times of trouble. And the words attributed to him go like this: "Come to me, all of you that are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. It is easy, and my burden is light." That could be quite comforting, but what the heck does it mean? A yoke, because we're not most of us a farming culture. A yoke refers to an instrument placed upon an animal pulling a load to distribute or balance the weight. It can also refer to those poles held across your back to carry heavy things like 2 buckets. Of course, in that instance, each container needs to be a similar weight and in the right position in order to maintain balance. So I want to talk to you about the Greek language for just 30 seconds. The Gospels that we take these words from were originally written in Greek. And the Greek word for yoke is zugos, yoke. But it can also be translated as balance. So we hear those words differently perhaps when we hear, take the balance that I've found, and you will find a place that is free and light. Take upon you the balance. And perhaps we need not to feel so afraid of our imbalance. This shadow that we often hide and feel immense shame about, not living this perfectly idealized vision of Zen, of poise, of equilibrium. Let's reframe that balance, not as either or, not binary, not dualistic, this or that, reactionary approach to the right way and the wrong way, because we know there aren't just two choices. We don't have to do either nothing and feel immense guilt, or work ourselves silly to find the other way. That's the one solution. We don't need no moose or 16 moose. Sometimes one. One moose in your life is really great. Maybe this is an approach that says, hey, a little imbalance is okay. If we didn't sense where things are a little off, how would we know when we need to adjust our center of gravity? Did you know a bike without a rider sent down a hill will adjust itself? Because if it feels itself leaning to the right, the wheel will turn to the right and right itself. How would we know when something strikes us as wrong or unjust or unhealthy? How would we know that we're grading up against something we do want to change in our lives, about something we do want to change about our actions or our thoughts, if we didn't feel a little off balance about it? And maybe this approach says, hey, there might be a way that feels light and free because it's about what is the right adjustment, the right time, the right pace for me. Small adjustments that keep us on our bike moving forward. So what if befriending this shadow? What if living in the play between balance and imbalance looks like holding two complementary unities, as if those two balanced buckets contain things like strength and compassion, independence and accountability? What if they contained work and play, patience and urgency, hope and realism, conviction and openness? All of it necessary as part of the unity of our lives in dynamic partnership. Let's aspire to live in the light and the shadow, in other words. Not moving from one to the other. Naming the shadow, recognizing it, also befriending it and saying, we all contain all of it. Being gentle with ourselves. We can't be kind all the time. And embracing the need for our sense of imbalance, just as we embrace the free and unforced rhythms of life. Light and shadow together. On this road, with each other, may it be so, in so many different ways. Into the day and whatever it holds. Into the off-kilter, off-balance, askewed day in front of us. May we find within us an embrace, a love, a light, and a shadow that will help us take the next step. May we go in peace. Thank you.